You slept 8 hours. You didn't do anything particularly difficult today. You haven't been running around, haven't been under any obvious pressure, and yet you are exhausted. And the worst part is, when someone asks you why you're tired, you have no answer, because nothing happened. And that silence, that inability to explain it, makes you feel like something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you, but something is happening inside you that most people around you will never experience. And science has finally started to explain it. Before we go further, drop a comment right now if you've ever felt tired and had absolutely no explanation for why. I want to see how many of us are carrying this. Reason 1. Your nervous system processes everything more deeply. In the 1990s, psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron identified a trait called sensory processing sensitivity. She found that around 15 to 20% of people have a nervous system that processes sensory and emotional information much more deeply than others. What does that mean in real life? It means when you walk into a room, you don't just see the room, you feel the energy of the room. You pick up tension between people, even when they haven't said a word. You notice expressions that lasted half a second before someone covered them up. Your brain is doing processing work that the average brain simply skips, and that processing has a cost. Every environment you walk into, your nervous system is running at full capacity, not because you choose to, but because you are wired differently. That is why you are tired, not from what happened, but from how deeply you experienced it. Reason 2. You absorb other people's emotions as if they were your own. Have you ever spent time with someone stressed and walked away feeling stressed yourself, even though nothing stressful happened to you? Have you ever been in a good mood, then sat next to someone sad and felt that sadness slowly settle into you? Neuroscience research on mirror neurons shows when you observe someone's emotional state, your brain activates as if it's happening to you. In emotionally deep people, this system is hyperactive. You don't just observe pain, you simulate it. You feel it in your own body. That's why difficult conversations drain you for hours. That's why even watching the news feels heavy. That's why you need time alone after being around people, not because you are antisocial, but because you are recovering from emotions that were never yours. Tell me in the comments, does this happen to you? Reason 3. Your mind never fully switches off. Most people, when they are doing nothing, are actually doing nothing. They sit quietly. Their mind rests. They watch something and they just watch it. They go to sleep and they fall asleep. But for you, quiet is never quiet. The moment external noise stops, internal noise starts. You replay conversations. You rethink what you should have said. You process emotions from days ago. You plan, worry, question, analyze. Not because you want to, but because you cannot stop. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network. In deep thinkers, this network is more active than average. Your brain doesn't have a true off switch. Even your rest is work. And work, no matter how invisible, creates fatigue. Reason 4. You carry the weight of things left unresolved. Most people move on easily. A disagreement ends, they move on. A disappointment happens, they let it go. A relationship ends, they recover. But for you, nothing leaves cleanly. Every unresolved conversation stays in your body. Every relationship without closure leaves a door open in your mind. Every confusing situation gets revisited again and again until it makes sense. You don't just feel things and move on. You feel them, then you feel the memory, then you feel what it meant to you. And about life. This is not weakness. Psychologists call this depth of processing. It means you take life seriously. It means things matter to you. But it also means you carry a weight that builds over time, invisible to others, but very real inside you. Stay with me, because the next reason is the one most people miss. Reason 5. You are performing a version of yourself that isn't real. Every single day, at work, in social situations, even with family, you perform. You tone yourself down. You make yourself smaller, simpler, easier to be around. You hide your depth because you've learned that depth makes people uncomfortable. Psychologists call this emotional masking, suppressing your real thoughts and emotions to fit your environment. And this is one of the most energy-consuming things a human can do, more exhausting than physical work because it requires constant self-monitoring. You've been doing this your whole life, in classrooms where your questions were too deep, in friendships where your feelings were too much, in workplaces where your thinking didn't match the pace. You've been translating yourself every single day, and that translation has a cost that builds over years into an exhaustion with no clear source and no simple explanation. So, why are you exhausted for no reason? Because you process more, you feel more, you hold more, and you perform a version of yourself that drains your energy. You are not lazy. You are not dramatic. You are not weak. You are someone whose inner world costs more to run. And the first step to feeling less exhausted is accepting that your exhaustion was always real. You were never making it up. Now, tell me in the comments which of these reasons hit you the hardest. And if this reminds you of someone who was always tired, send this to them. Because sometimes, understanding is the most powerful thing you can give another person.